Hi there, and welcome back to the amazing collection unboxing. We are on box number 92, and this is a heavy one. This says Breyer, Roy the Belgians, and a mix of other models and buttons. So it should be an interesting box. Let's find out what's in here. Ooh, 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 I like the top of it. It starts off very well. Here we have the very fun and probably now one of the rarest Breyers around, Kipper. Kipper is a Thule pony introduced in the mid-80s, 85, 86, I don't remember, I was a kid at the time. But I loved him, he was so cute. So I think it's Norman Thule was an illustrator in England that did a whole series of cute books and illustrations and cartoons about cute ponies that are ponies at heart, who really just like to torture us. And I had a pony at the time. So I wanted one of these, but I never got one. And therein lies an interesting story. So they're not made of the traditional Breyer plastic, that tenite. It's more a vinyl, and they have this rooted mane and tail. I'm not going to open him, although it looks like the box may have been opened at one time. I'll talk and see if I can open the box at the same time. So Breyer licensed the Thule ponies, you can probably see a little better now, from Norman Thule to produce for, I think, the Christmas catalog in like 84, 85, 86. They were supposed to make three. It was Kipper, Midge, and Pumpkin. I think Pumpkin was a Palomino, I don't remember Midge, and then this guy. And he was in Christmas catalogs and he was in the regular catalogs, and it's just fascinating. Oh my gosh, somebody I think has blogged about it. It's an absolutely fascinating history. Get Nancy Young's book and read it. I won't go on and on because there's a lot more stuff in this box. But anyway, they didn't sell very well, and so they were discontinued fairly quickly. Wouldn't that be awesome? I hope they didn't go out and bury them like they did that Atari ET game that didn't sell well. Wouldn't it be fun to come across cases of these guys? So they're impossible to find in this box. I think this box is actually designed for the rocking horse, the saddlebred weanling that was flocked and on the base by Reichsickers, because you can see he doesn't scale well in the box. So the boxes, I mean, this guy's pretty rare. I think I finally got mine from like Mission Supply House or one of those outlet companies, and they were selling them without these boxes. These boxes are much harder to come by than even the horse itself. So Midge and Pumpkin never got produced because poor Kipper didn't sell very well. I guess we in the US just weren't as familiar with the works of Norman Thule, but I think he's really cool. Let me show you the back. I wonder if he slides out. He does. Oh, he's so cute! He has his personality ponies on the front, but then on the back, it's the classic 80s Breyer line art illustration. This is actually a cool box because I can take the horse out and I've not really damaged the box. And then on the front, he's number 9960 Kipper, parenthesis, happy. He's smiling, he looks happy, but you know inside is the heart of a pony that wants to torment his young charge. So that is super awesome. I'm super excited, super stoked. This is one of my favorite things ever. I'm very happy. So I have to move on, but I'm going to keep him here because he's so cute. The box is kind of fragile. So next we have the Spirit collection, Spirit Pewter. Looks like it's signed by Kitty Cantrell. Maybe she designed them. Nothing captures the Western spirit like fine pewter. Oh, so this is just one horse. So this is Spirit in pewter. Oh, and he actually is signed by Kitty Cantrell. So I'm assuming that that means that Kitty designed these guys. So that's super nice. So this collector, he comes with a little hang tag with the little Spirit running horse. This is a really nice set. I never got any of the pewters, and I kind of regret it because I really liked them, and now that I see them, I think they're even cooler. So Kitty must have designed this piece, and then the collector must have gotten her to sign it. So I had no idea. That's super awesome. That's another awesome piece. This is a great box. We got another box in here that's all taped up. It just says Made in China, Quantity 1, Item 99111. And what do we have? It is not made in China. This is a Hagen-Renaker draft horse. Hagen-Renakers are made in the United States. This is a Hagen-Renaker Howling Wolf. This collector didn't do a lot of Chinas, but he does like the draft horses. This is a box of draft horses, so that's probably where these guys came from. This is the, I think, early 90s release Percheron. I don't remember who sculpted that one. It could have been Marine, but it was in her later years, if so. Oh, and then we have a little bug house. These guys are made in China, and you can see a lot of them are very similar to or copies of the Hagen-Renakers. This is one of the 90s Hagen-Renaker drafters. He has a much brighter blue on his mane and tail bobs, and he has a lot more detail to his harness painting. So this is just a bunch of early 90s Hagen-Renaker and one little bug house copy. Those guys are fun. I like this blue on his mane. It's very 80s, 90s blue. It's very super cute. So then we have, this is just a toy saddle. Kind of nice. It's made of leather. It's got a lot of detail to it, but it's fairly cheaply made and would be suitable for play. Then we have on to another Breyer. This is the Breyer Thoroughbred Mare. I forget what they called this color or this paint job. She's like a minimal chestnut pinto because she has, I don't think she's true medicine hat, but she could be. Because she's got chestnut on her head and chestnut on her butt and chestnut on her chest. But other than that, she's primarily white, so it could be medicine hat. And she came with a foal. So there might be a foal in here to go with her a little later. I think she was a regular run, again, early 90s. And we have a grazing foal in Palomino. Super nice condition. And really, this is probably the darkest Palomino grazing foal that I've probably seen. Most of them are a very pale Palomino. This is almost chestnut, so maybe it's later in the run. Nice condition, nice nose pinking, nice charcoal hooves. Not too many people like that mold, but that's a really nice example of it. So a collector of that mold would really like that. And here we have a grazing mare in bay. Again, a super nice example of the grazing mare. She's not in quite as good a condition. She's got some rubs, but she's, again, super dark, really dark, particularly on her back legs. Her mane and tail, even her body color is super dark. So again, not the most popular molds, but there are collectors of just about everything, and that was a really nice example as a variation to put in your collection, light, medium, dark. So there's a bunch of other stuff in here. We have Team Lightning, a die-cast metal road rod Johnny Lightning, as you have in your Breyer collection. I've got a little tack box. Doesn't feel Breyer. We have a bunch of Breyer saddles, which is really awesome. We have 2 Breyer Western Pony saddles. You can tell A, from the size, and B, they have the pointed tapaderos. The Western Prancer has just the regular open open stirrups. This one, they're both really nice dark charcoal. This one has a lot of chips on it. This one is super mint and really nice and dark. This collector did love the Western horses, the Western prancers, the Western ponies. So these are probably parts that they were buying to finish sets. We've seen lots of the Fury Prancer sets over the different boxes. Now this is a very old Western horse saddle. I'm not an expert, so I'd have to look it up to see exactly, but it's the high grommet with cinch, which is the original of the Breyer Western saddle. They started with the high grommets, but these metal grommets that were holding in the cinches rubbed the horses when they were this high on the horse. When you put them on, it would rub the horse's shoulder. So the high grommets were first, then they moved them lower, and then they eventually did away with the grommets and the cinch altogether. So this is a really old Western saddle, and it's it's black, it's in excellent condition. The cinch is in good condition. So these were probably just for the collector to finish out sets. I didn't buy this entire collection because the family did keep several pieces, so I think they kept a lot of the Western horses and ponies, so those were probably to finish up when they bought a horse without a saddle, then they could have a saddle for that horse. Here we have the foal that goes with that grazing mare. He has almost a solid chestnut face and just a little bit of chestnut on his booty, and he's kind of cute. Then we have lots of Breyer buttons. Lots and lots of Breyer buttons. There's a trigger button, which is fun, a horse whisperer, some quarter horses, cigar and major, lots and lots of Breyer buttons. These are fun. I collected a lot of these. I haven't found a perfect way to display them yet. There's a cute one for stablemates. I was thinking of buying a shirt and just putting them all over the shirt and then displaying them in my horse room, because I do love the buttons. They're fun little ways of displaying fun stuff. Did I say they were fun? Okay, so now let's get on to Roy. I think that's all that's left in the box. Roy, I'm sorry to say, does not get as much love as I think he should. Roy, the Belgian, was sculpted by Francis Eustace, who is a world-renowned horse sculptor. And his resins, or whatever they're made of, I'm not sure if they're resin, they could be a composite, I've actually never owned one, go for lots and lots and lots of money. He's highly regarded. I actually don't know the story of Roy. He was issued in the late 80s, like 88, 89. And I think he was part of the artist series. So Sham was sculpted by Rich Rudish. I think Roy was part of that artist series. So they got either Eustace to sculpt a new sculpture, or he was a copy of a piece that he had already made. So his original sculptures go for lots of money. Collectors don't give Roy the love that I think he should get. I think he is super cute. He is a super nice example of an older style draft horse. And yes, he is artistically interpreted, but I think that's why we enjoy collecting model horses, because of the artistry that the sculptors bring to them. So this is the original Breyer Roy the Drafter in the chestnut. Like I said, 88, 89, back then they probably ran for 5-6 years or so. He's in excellent condition. No other remarkable things to say about him, but I just wish that collectors would get more behind the Roy mold, because he's got a great story and he's super cute. Drafters are awesome. So this is another one of the Roy mold. This, I think, was a special run. The collector paid $35 for them. I think it was like a Sears or a Penny's or a Ward's special run from early. So like if he was 89, this would be the early 90s, which is the time frame of a lot of this collector when he was active. It's a light, I don't know if I'd call it, probably call it a blue roan. You could call it a chestnut. He's got a chestnut base to him, so he's very red underneath. He has one big boo-boo on his show side over here. But then he's got a lot of gray over the top of him. And this paint job really accentuates how rough the sculpture is, which is part of this sculptor's signature style. So I really like this guy, even better than the original Roy. I don't know, I think I have a couple of Roys in my collection. After talking them up, I'll have to make sure that I have a few. So this is another, I think this was another special run, but he could be a regular run. I don't know. I'm not as familiar as I should be with this mold in this era. He's a super dark chestnut, as opposed to our first bright chestnut guy. He's got a blaze, and he just has, the other two don't, but he has a little bit of green around his tail bob ribbon. And he's in okay condition. He's got a few ear tip and tail tip rubs, but he's in nice shape. I think so far he's probably my favorite. And last but not least, we have another Roy. You know, I probably have the Breyer Fest Roy special run. And I probably have the original one, because I have all of the artist series of horses, the Sherman Morgan and the Lady Roxana. So I probably have him, and I probably have the Breyer Fest special run. This guy, maybe he's a regular run, and maybe he's a special run. Very light gray white. This is a nice color on this guy, very subtle with gray on his knees and his nose, and just a little bit of gray shading, just enough again to bring out the roughness of that mold. Maybe a winter coat on the horse when they get that fuzzy look. So I think that's all for this box. It was a fun box, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of really fun stuff, a lot of really fun history, so this video is probably a little long. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something, and go out and find yourself a Kipper and a Roy for your collection, because they're totally awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. Join me next week. I'll have more fun stuff then. Thanks.